ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you the greatest Mega Man game ever. Well, according to the internet. The great thing about the internet, it's a lot like high school. Once someone expresses their opinion strongly and loudly enough, it spreads like wildfire. Because, you know, people don't want to look like they don't know what they're talking about, after all. Especially if they haven't done the research. Now don't get me wrong, it's a phenomenal game. I love it. And indeed, it sold the most copies of any Mega Man. But does that really mean it's the greatest Mega Man of all time? Well, let's find out, shall we? This is Mega Man 2. Mega Man 2 is an action platformer game developed and published by Capcom for the Nintendo Entertainment System. It was first released in Japan in 1988. Mega Man continues Mega Man's battle against the evil Dr. Wily and his rogue robots. Mega Man 2 takes place 1 year after the original Mega Man. After his initial defeat, Dr. Wily creates his own set of robot masters in an attempt to counter Mega Man. We have Metal Man, Air Man, Bubble Man, Quick Man, Crash Man, Flash Man, Heat Man, and Wood Man. Mega Man is then sent by yada 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 yada. So like the first game, you take on the robot masters with your Mega Blasters, but some weapons kill the masters faster, making Mega Man a disaster for Dr. Wily and his robot masters. So if you didn't get all that, like game 1, you can defeat the bosses in any order, and when you defeat a boss, you receive their power, which you can then use during the stages, or more importantly, against other bosses. Some weapons are devastating to other bosses, and can make very light work of an otherwise incredibly challenging task. You just gotta work it out as you go, like all Mega Mans. Luckily, it's incredibly fun to do. But also, there's not just one way you have to do it. In fact, everyone has their own opinion on that too. Just look at the fights that have started on Twitter about it. Idiots. But Digz, I hear you say, what's the difference between this and number 1? Well, nothing really as far as gameplay goes, except for the introduction of items 1, 2, and 3. These will help you get to those hard to reach places to help you through those tricky situations. The power-up weapons are a bit of an improvement though, and it's the first time they really actually support you through the levels, not just on the bosses. But I mean really, the Metal Man gun can get you through most tight situations, and makes the game pretty much a cakewalk for the most part. I think the coolest thing about this game is essentially the necessity to use these power-ups to get through all the Wily stages. At the end, you then get to fight the bosses all over again, but now you've got your whole arsenal of weapons to choose from, making it way more fun. I won't give everything away here, because the beauty of this game is learning everything as you go, and finding faster ways to complete the game. Honestly, it's quite short and it's pretty easy to learn, so I really don't want to spoil it. The soundtrack once again is fantastic. It's one of the more memorable ones for the NES, and any console for that matter. Each boss stage has its own definable theme, and the boss fights are now really cool sounding, and not as mishy-mashy as the first game. Dr. Wily's stages are notably impressive too. Unfortunately, there are still a few things missing from Mega Man 2, which I believe they absolutely perfected in number 3, but we'll leave that for another time. Overall, it's a pretty big improvement from number 1, with great new characters, stronger backstory, some really interesting stage enemies, the use of items, and a new and improved arsenal. But sadly, I think they really scaled down the difficulty too much, and it's just a bit short, and overall, the gameplay doesn't feel all that different. With all things considered, I think I can only give it a 7 out of 10. For those of you who want to keep up to date with all my Digz Gamer reviews, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click notifications. Thank you very much.